And we say good morning to you. We're broadcasting live today on this Thursday. We're live at Chick-fil-A in Elizabethton on a gorgeous, gorgeous fall Thursday. 297-1266, the number to call to find out more how they can help you with your holiday gift or holiday trays, football game trays this weekend. Whatever you need, it's a phone call away at 297-1266. The Autumn Spice milkshake's there. The spicy grilled chicken's back, of course, and the tortilla soup is back. And so those are the three of the fall items that you can purchase at this particular Chick-fil-A. And, of course, there's three ways to take care of it. You can, of course, come in here and do your thing live in the lobby. You can come through the drive-thru now with two lanes, or go on the App Store and get Chick-fil-A One. And as a result of that, order that way, and they'll bring it to you out on the curb. This guy right here can do that for you, our buddy Jesse. There you go. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Tom?
Good.
Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
Good,
So that's
good.
how we do that, right? We can get on the go to the App Store, go to Chick-fil-A One, put it on your phone.
Right.
Order it that
Android
way.
or Apple.
And they'll come out here, and you'll bring it out and deliver it to the car, right?
Curbside delivery, I'm not sure if we have that available right now at this location. Is that what you're referring to?
When you order on the app.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we don't have curbside available at Elizabethton, if that's what you're referring to. We have it.
All right, wait a minute. So when I order on the app, Chick-fil-A One,
Right.
how do I get it?
So you can pick it up in the drive-thru, or we also have dining room pickup. So
That's
they will
right.
set it down there at the end of the pickup station
Oh,
if you're
that's right.
coming
My
indoors.
bad. Yep.
And then we have it in the drive-thru. Curbside's not available right now. I don't know if we'll bring that back or not. Most Chick-fil-A locations have that. We do not currently have that available.
All right. So it's curbside or not curbside, but drive-through walk-in, correct?
Drive-through walk-in is what mobile orders are available for right now.
All right. There you go.
Yeah,
So
the mobile app's a great thing to have on Android or Apple platforms, and you can download that for free.
There
Get all
you
kinds
go.
of good stuff.
all right. He's our weatherman, Jesse, the Storm Tracker Sacker. Cool weather here. Is it going to stay? Going to warm up? What's going on?
Yeah, you know, we've had the coldest fall start since probably, I think, 1996, last time I checked, in the southeast. That totally blows out of the water my thoughts on a warm start to fall. So just goes to show long-range forecasting is not a perfect skill. But we've been very cold. In fact, we saw some snow flurries already in the Tri-Cities the other day.
Yeah, I heard that.
So that was about the earliest I've ever seen down here. It was October 18th, seeing
Yeah.
snowflakes. So,
What's that mean?
well, it didn't necessarily mean anything.
Does
but
that mean it's going to be a bad winter?
not necessarily. Sometimes,
Good.
sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. You know, it doesn't have a whole lot of correlation. You know, I've seen cold Octobers go both ways. Sometimes we'll have a real warm winter follow that, and sometimes we'll have a really cold winter follow cold October. So just have to see how it goes. There's not a whole lot of correlation. People think there is. There's really not.
Okay.
But a lot of the cold that we've seen has been from recurving Pacific typhoons. That tends to buckle the jet stream and send ripples down here. And so you get those real deep cold air masses. We'd be cooler already because of the seasonal change, but we're colder than normal because of what's going on there.
All right.
So that's definitely benefited or contributed to it.
So going forward, what's going to be the forecast next 3 or 4 or 5 days?
Well, I know you're going to be happy to hear this. We do have a warm-up coming up this
Yay.
weekend. We're going to get back into the 70s. So you got a couple more cool days, and we'll start looking at highs in the 70s by potentially Saturday, definitely Sunday. And should be pretty dry this weekend. So, you know, your mornings are still pretty cool, but now if you get out in the afternoons, it should be nice and warm. And then we'll probably start seeing, you know, back and forth, typical fall pattern, some warm-ups, brief cold fronts the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then maybe start looking at some deeper cold shots later in November again. Yeah, well, it's almost time for winter. So
no, don't say that.
listen,
That's gonna be
it's about to get exciting.
It's going to be a freaky winter.
He
It's gonna
knows
be,
I love snow, so I'm
Yeah.
chomping at the bit.
It's going to be a freaky winter, and it's going to stay 70s all winter long, not in the 40s.
Wouldn't you like it?
Oh, yeah, I'd love it. Yeah.
I
So,
do think we will have some warmer periods this winter, but I think it's going to be a tug of war back and forth a whole lot of the season.
Can I just move somewhere where it's warmer so I don't have to sit here and battle you about this?
I mean,
'cause
I might have to be South Florida.
is that
you
where I
know?
have to go?
I guess so. Usually they don't get penetrated with the cold fronts as much. So
Georgia will be it's warm down
Georgia,
there?
you'll still get some freezes sometimes in Georgia, and occasionally you'll get a little snow too, depending on where you're at. So
What about lower Alabama?
you got it. You got all the way at least the Gulf Coast. Probably, like I said, South Florida is probably your better bet getting away from cold
Yeah.
wintertime here.
Orlando, somewhere down in there?
Somewhere down in there.
Yeah, where it's warm all
Yeah,
the
you
time.
can
I don't
hang
have
out.
to worry
Well,
about this.
you got Universal Studios and Disney down
Yeah.
there. You got plenty to do, so
I could
you'll
be-
have fun.
I could dress up as Mickey Mouse and work at Disney.
Dress up as Mickey Mouse and be 80 degrees every day.
Yeah, so I can wave. Hi, it's Mickey.
Santa be out there in his bathing suit
Yeah.
for Christmas time.
Well, I don't like cold weather, but it's coming. So
It's coming.
Just kind of batting.
I don't
hatches.
prefer it this cold this early. I mean, goodness gracious, it's not snowing yet. It's just cold, and I don't care for that.
Yeah. There you go. So next couple of days going into the weekend, tell me one more time what's going on for
We
us.
got a warm-up coming. By the Saturday and Sunday, we'll start looking at highs in the lower 70s again. And your morning's still going to be pretty chilly, but your afternoons will be pleasantly warmer. And early next week should be warm, too. We might have a cold front later next week, but I don't think it'll be as deep as this last one is. Maybe just cut temperatures back a little bit. And, your typical back and forth fall pattern the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then some deeper cold later on downstream.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Where do we find you on social media?
Storm Tracker Sacker. It's on Instagram and Facebook, SACHER on the spelling. Now, I'm also over there at Tri-Cities Weather and Alert Crew with Michael Gibson on Facebook and Twitter. And we've actually got a website now called Weather Notifications. That's WXNotifications.com. We're starting to do some articles over there. And also over at Carolina Weather Authority with meteorologist Mike Griffith for the Carolina weather.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good job.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yep. Jesse, the Storm Tracker Sacker folks in the house. Weather forecast can be pretty good for the weekend. We like that. So here we go. No football tomorrow night. We're off this week. We'll play next Thursday night, as a matter of fact. Elizabethton and Seymour next Thursday night for senior night. So an open night tomorrow night. So see what we can get into for the open weekend and fall break. Getting ready to wrap up. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll jump in and take a little look at Major League Baseball right after this break from the Jewelers Bench. We're live at Chick-fil-A and Elizabethton on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Need help finding that perfect gift? Jewelers Bench provides the highest quality jewelry at incredible prices, providing unique jewelry for all occasions. With our own jeweler in-house, we offer custom-made pieces, as well as general maintenance and repair services. Whether you're shopping for yourself or someone special, we can help make your holidays sparkle. Always remember, you get more for your money at the Jewelers Bench.
From our family to yours, we would like to thank you for supporting our business for over 20 years.
And as always, we wish you a
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
At Chick-fil-A Caraway Village, we always look forward to seeing Ellie. Nick also.
Ellie just gets excited and bolts right towards them.
She loves to come and get the bag and trots right back to Nick.
We never even had to ask them to hand her the bag. The team members just automatically knew to do it. It was just that little thing, that level of customer service that kind of blew my mind.
We're just really glad that Nick shared Ellie with us. We take care of our guests, whether they're two-legged or four-legged.
And back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Let's take a look at Major League Baseball. Our first guest is here. David will be here in just a second. He and the office goddess are in the house from Collins and Company Real Estate. So look at him. So he'll be with us here in just a second. All right, let's take a look at Major League Baseball last night. Astros look to remain unbeaten in the 2022 postseason. They'll battle the Yankees Game 2 coming up later today. Winning yesterday 4-2 in Game 1, pair of pitchers will start the game today from the Dominican Republic. Framber Valdez will go with the Astros, and Luis Severino will go with the Yankees. So it'll be Game 2 of that one. Of course, they won it yesterday, and so they'll get after it. Again, it was Verlander and the Astros winning 4-2 over the Yankees in Game 1. And so she had some guys, some unlikely guys hitting home runs going deep for the Houston Astros. And so they will move into Game 2 with a 1-0 lead. They'll play that one again later today. And it'll be, again, at 7:30 tonight. And that'll be again in Houston. Valdez for the Astros, and Luis Severino will go for the New York Yankees. All right, let's take a look at the other side of the Padres. When they needed it, they came up with yet another 5-run rally, and they beat Philadelphia 8-5 at Petco Park yesterday. Series now heads to Philadelphia. It's a travel day today. It's tied even. And so the Padres 8-5 win. Josh Bell 3 for 4. The home run kind of keyed it for the Padres. And so Bryce Harper continues monster postseason for the Phillies, although he lost. He went 2 for 4 the double, extending his extra base hit streak to 7 games. And so Harper 13 for 31 with 4 doubles and 4 home runs in 8 games in the postseason. The guy's killing it, batting .419. So Bryce Harper, 4 doubles, 4 home runs in 8 games. Up next, travel day today. They'll go into Philadelphia tomorrow night. It'll be Ranger Suarez will go for the Phillies, and Joe Musgrove will go for the San Diego Padres. Historically, teams that take a 2-1 lead in the best of 7 have gone on to win the series 71% of the time. Game 3 is a big swing game. They'll be tomorrow night in Philadelphia. The Astros and Yankees again Game 2 tonight. And then Game 3 of the Phillies and the Padres tomorrow night in Philadelphia. Of course, after this game tonight, Houston and New York will move to Yankee Stadium for the weekend. Quick break. We'll be right back. He's here. He will be on board. He's our first guest of the show. That'll be our buddy David Collins from Collins & Company right after this break. We're live here again. We are Chick-fil-A on show number 1724. Said it wouldn't work, and here we are. And we'll do that right after this from Rick Walters, Horseman Insurance on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
When you think about a teacher or the teacher community, you think of the largest group of college-educated people. You think of a group that is basically conservative by their habits and the things they do. You always have that wild buck out there someplace, but overall they're a pretty level-headed group. I've always felt that this was the best choice as far as a customer, someone to build a relationship with. It's always been my belief that that type of individual is going to make better choices when they're behind the wheel, that they're going to make better choices about taking care of their home. They're going to make better choices on protecting their family, whether that's from an untimely death through life insurance or through planning for their retirement.
Joseph Taylor, Ivy Hall Nursing Home, proud sponsor of Cyclone Sports and the Tom Taylor Sports Show. So what's going on right now at Ivy Hall Nursing Home?
Ivy Hall, we are accepting short-term and long-term residents. We definitely specialize in our short-term. We're very proud of our rehab department, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, respiratory therapy. We want you to come. If you want, a couple weeks of rehab, we'll be happy to help you and get you back home. We'd love to have any long-term residents. If you need our services, we're here. We just want to be just to serve our community the best we can.
Why Ivy Hall Nursing Home? There's a lot of them out there. Why do you feel like you guys are the best?
Well, we just feel like that at Ivy Hall, it's a family-run business. My mom is the owner. Myself and my sister, we both work there. We just feel like you're going to get more personal touch at Ivy Hall. If you want to talk to the owner administrator, call, ask for Judy. We just want to provide the personal touch.
And they do. Social media, how do we find you?
Ivy Hall Nursing Home on Facebook or ivyhallnursingHome.com if you'd like to apply for a job. We're hiring CNAs, LPNs, RNs, housekeeping, whatever. You can go on there and fill out an application, and somebody will get in touch with you.
One of our great sponsors here, the Tom Taylor Sports Show and Cyclone Sports, our buddy Joseph Taylor right there, as you see, with Ivy Hall Nursing Home. Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, here we are. We're joined by my man getting into the camera here, our buddy David Collins.
I need to scoop now.
You do need to get a little closer, yeah.
Need a little lead, buddy.
Where's the Rose at? She needs to come in here and do her. You need to come do it. That's kind of standard operating procedure. She is here. Only got half your face. You're going to get a little closer. So, there you go. Look at her.
Oh, sorry.
Don't block her. She's the bright spot of this operation.
That's
Are you
not
kidding
nice,
me?
is it?
No, it wasn't very nice. It wasn't very Christian-like for you to do that. So
I've been known to be mean every now and then.
No.
Mischievous.
No, not you.
Yeah.
Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky Pete. That's
There you
my
go.
name. Yep.
All right, coming up top of the hour, going to be talking to Mike Kedrick, talking NASCAR a little bit later on. Doug Fritz, Johnson City Press. The new classifications in for the new sports year starting next fall, which is interesting to say the least. The TSSAA has done it again, so a lot of reclassification, so we'll see how that rolls. Hello to Linda Wagner. Hello to Carl Wilson. Appreciate you kids. Hello to Rick Ranson down in Pensacola. Thank you all for being with us here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
You're worldwide, aren't you, Tom?
Worldwide, yeah.
What about that?
Yep.
We are too.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You go everywhere. Here's the new logo, by the way, Collins and Company. Russ retired, and now it's David's gig, and so he and the office got us, and Jacob and Ashley, and who am I leaving out?
Libby
and
Julia.
Julia.
Yeah.
Not Sheila, but Julia.
Now I don't know Sheila.
Well, you ain't got no Sheila, but got a Julia.
Ain't got one.
Ain't got one of them. Well, I knew it was an IA at the end of it, so I thought it was Julia, but it's Sheila.
That's pretty
Sheila.
close. Yeah.
I mean, it's not Sheila, but it's Julia.
Julia.
There you go.
Yeah, you're getting closer.
It's been a morning, so there you go.
Yeah.
You got it?
I have them.
All right, here we go. We got a auction going on. I got two of them, as a matter of fact. Here's the first one. We are auctioning off this little baby blue beauty right here.
Isn't that pretty?
1948 Chevy Fleetline, right?
Yep, runs good. Boy,
Yeah.
that's a cream puff.
Yeah. Where do we go? SweeneyProperties.com. We do.
Yeah, Collins highbid.com.
Yeah.
Second owner car there, and it's been in his collection for several years, and getting old. He's getting older and just wants to downsize some of his stuff. So
Right.
we offer to try to help him. That online auction ends Tuesday night at 6 p.m.
3-speed manual on the column.
Yep.
I would assume.
3-speed, yeah.
Yep. Original 235 6-cylinder engine, runs and drives, comes with the original owner's manual, being offered a public online auction. So if you'd like to preview the vehicle, you can. Otherwise, go to SweeneyProperties.com. Are folks bidding on this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the bid is, but they're bidding on it.
So, I mean, there's people hitting it pretty hard?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So, and usually when you do these auctions, they get them all over the country, right?
All over the United States, Canada.
Yeah. He's worldwide,
all over,
folks.
Worldwide, yep.
He's worldwide and we're worldwide.
Right from your phone.
Right from your telly.
Yep.
SweeneyProperties.com. You can actually bid on your phone.
On your telephone.
That's
yeah.
awesome. So
That's
I've never
where
done that.
90, probably 90% or more bids
from the
come
phone?
through the phone. Yeah.
Yep. That one's going on. This one also going on. By the way, goes on until next Tuesday.
Yep.
And this one goes on next Tuesday as well. This is a property here in Elizabethton on North Pine Street. Tell me about this.
Good
would
little
you,
house,
please?
totally remodeled, ready to move into. You can go in there and live and not do anything.
Nice.
Pretty house. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
It's a really nice house. We got pictures up on the website and Realtor.com. You can find it there. Zillow, Trulia, all those.
Yep.
As well.
October the 25th is the drop dead time to bid on this, which will be coming up next Tuesday.
Yep.
3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, built in 1930, 1,100 square feet.
Got
And
a detached garage, nice big backyard, fenced backyard as well.
so here in Elizabeth, it would be in behind Wendy's. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yep. So if you know where Wendy's is, you can swing by there. Signs in the yard, I would assume.
Signs there, signs up.
All right, so there you go.
Meeting link up, signs up.
Signs up, ready to roll. 3 new properties. They still there? You put under contract?
We got
Conklin Road,
is active. It's a foreclosure, a bank foreclosure.
Cripple Creek Loop,
It is still active. Yeah, nice
and
house.
Greenway Drive.
Is under contract.
Okay, we won't talk about that
Had
one
a
then.
bunch of offers on it, so we
Okay.
got it under contract.
Conklin Road, Jonesboro, 179.9. Tell us about this one, would
Bank
you please?
foreclosure. Really neat house. 4-bedroom, 2 baths. Got a big 2-car garage and an outbuilding. Nice little country setting right there. Not far, maybe 2 miles from downtown Jonesboro there.
Mm-hmm.
Really neat, a good place. Needs a little work, but for the money, hey, it's a bargain.
SweeneyProperties.com.
That's it.
Check it out. And that's 179.9, and it's a 4-bedroom.
4-bedroom, 2
Are,
bath.
are foreclosures up?
Not yet.
Are you seeing a?
Well, they're not hitting the markets yet, but I know that delinquent payments are going up now. So,
Are they really?
yeah.
So
There's a rise, like a 60-some% rise from a year ago.
really?
Yeah.
So from October of 2021, there's a 60% rise in delinquent payments.
Yeah.
Wow. So what does that mean for somebody out there looking for a home? But there's going to be some good ones coming up, you reckon? If they
Well,
foreclose?
there'll be some. Who knows how the asset management companies will handle those, or the banks. A lot of them may be turned into rentals or sold in bidder in pools of homes. So they might bundle 50 homes for investor pool. So I know all that's going on now as well.
Okay.
So, yep.
So now's the time.
Now's still the time. It's still a good market.
Market's still hot.
If you want to sell a home, it's still a good market. Yes.
Hot,
Very
warm, very hot.
good. It's good.
Very
I
good.
mean, I got 23 offers on one the other day on one house.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Althea Street, Johnson City, we had 23 offers.
23 offers.
Yep.
So if this one goes through, falls through, boom. It's like a domino effect, right?
Yep.
23 offers.
23
Wow.
offers.
Cripple Creek Loop, 289.9, Watauga, Tennessee. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, that's in a little country setting. You're just in between Elizabethton and Watauga, split 4-year type home. Totally updated. Nice, really cute setting where that is located. Move-in ready condition. just walk in. The buyers are relocating, the sellers are relocating. But if you want a place to move into and nothing to do, there you go.
There you go. 289.9.
Yep.
And that's on Cripple Creek Loop in Watauga.
Yep.
So what would the schools be there? Elizabethton?
Kingburg, Elizabethton, T.A.
Yep.
Duggar.
T.A. Duggar. All
Yep.
right. So Elizabethton City Schools. All
I
right.
think we got that
Oh,
one
we
going
got.
on.
Oh, wait. We've got a new one here.
We've got all kinds going on.
Look here. I didn't see these.
Yeah, we got that going on.
The office goddess is all over this,
All
like
over
a duck
the
on a
place.
June bug. I'm here to tell you, she is on it. All right, so let's put this right there. This is brand new. This is hot off the press. It started Monday, and it goes through November the 1st. This is an online auction event, contractors, home improvement, do-it-yourself auction.
Yep, DIY guys. There you go. Everything in it. Lots and lots of stuff. Electrical, plumbing, tools to do it with, and hardware. It's packed full of stuff.
How many
good stuff there. I think there's about 600 lots there.
600 lots. I need
really good auction.
600 lots.
Would you like to buy a pen?
I like to have a pen. Do you have a pen?
I have one.
I can tell you, I can count on one hand times I've left my house without a pen.
Is that right? Now you can count two.
Well, what's wrong with me?
We all slip occasionally.
600 lots.
Yep, 600. If you like tools, yeah, you want to bid here in this auction.
All right, there's that one.
Yes.
All right, let's see what else she's got over here.
What else does she have for us?
She has.
Golly, it's
she's already done Cripple Creek and Cripple Creek, but we've got First Avenue in Hampton. How about that one? Is that
well, that's the Bell House. We had it under contract, but the buyer couldn't fulfill their financial obligations, so it's back on the market.
All right, let's talk about it.
Neat place. It's
174.9.
2-bedroom, 2-bath. They've got a big garage with it. Pretty yard, tree line yard in the back, fence yard in the back. Just a neat property there. So it's got a bell on top. So you can go out and ring the bell in the morning and wake everybody up.
Thus, the name, the Bell House.
That's what we call it.
There's
yeah,
history behind it, I guess, I'm sure.
Yep.
Why they'd have a bell on top of the house, do you know?
I don't know.
There you go.
It was an old store at one time, so somebody converted it into a house.
All right, this one says Blue Friday Road in Gray. Online auction. Starts coming up on Monday. And tell me about this one.
A good little investment property there. House needs work. Fine, fantastic lot. Really pretty lot. And you're in between Gray and Johnson City right there. It's probably a Johnson City address, but I put Gray on the ad. Really good location if you're looking for something to work on. It's got a detached garage, or tear it down and build you a house. Really perfect spot. Perfect.
Yep. And it's all in Gray, and it's a look-see away from SwaneyProperties.com, right?
Yep.
So there you go.
Now, we'll have our new website. We're working on that. We've had some technical difficulty, but our new website should be up and running in the next day or so.
All right.
So it'll be changed. Now, we've got other auctions going on. We've got one on Sunnyview Court off Dave Buck Road. It's I think it's an 1,800 square foot house, 4-bedroom, 2 baths. Really nice spot there, dead end street. Got Malone Road. We should have all the property surveys signed off. We've been waiting on that. 25 acres coming up. It's in the edge of Watauga, Bluff City area. We'll have that next month as well. Pretty property there.
You're hopping.
Yeah.
Busy.
We've got one in Milligan area, the Old Milligan Highway, a 2-story house, historic home there, 2-story. We'll have lots of antique furniture in it. Really neat old house there. We'll be offering at public auction, live auction there as well.
So things are going really good.
Yeah.
You're staying hot.
Busy.
Collins and Company.
Thankful.
Yeah.
Lord's blessed us.
Oh, absolutely. It blessed us. SwaneyProperties.com, folks, where you want to go check out all this for the time being. You can have your pen back. I think I've got another pen somewhere.
Okay, good.
Uh-oh. She is telling me we've not done something. Mm-hmm.
You've not done something.
Something we ain't done something, because she's rifling through the papers like you boys left out something.
I'll tell you something she ain't done. Ordered us lunch.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
And she can leave me here.
She drove you here, and she's your Uber.
She's going to leave me here, too.
Mrs. Little is your Uber today, so.
Oh, we've got a new listing. It's on Peters Hollow Road. It's just fresh on the market today. You remember the price?
It's already on our website.
It's on our website. So anyway, new listing there. Really cute house, too. So anyway, we got stuff going on. Busy.
So Peters Hollow Road, brand new listing. Go to the website, SwaneyProperties.com. Check that one out.
2-bedroom, 1 bath, 794 square feet, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know the price, but anyway, sorry.
I'll get you the price. Hold on.
Mrs. Little says, "I'll get you the price, cowboy. Just hang on."
So if you need to auction, call me. You need to list the house, call me. Need properties showing, call us. We'll help you. Whatever you need.
Yep. 2-bedroom, 1 bath.
35741 543 5741.
Now the changes I made are not updated on here.
Well, anyway.
543-5741 is
Yep.
the number to
Give us a
call.
call.
Or go to the web, SwaneyProperties.com. Soon to be what?
CollinsandCompany.info.
There you go.
Yep.
But that's not ready yet, is it?
It's getting there.
It's in
Not
progress.
quite. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. We good?
I'm going to see if she's going to give me the Peters Hollow Road listing price.
I don't have it's not on here now.
Okay.
Lord
That's all right.
have mercy. What am I
Lord.
dealing with? Lordy me.
You're dealing with a lady that keeps you in line is what
You
you're
got
dealing
that
with.
right. She's
Yep.
great help. I
Yes, she
appreciate her
is.
very much.
Yeah, she's a good lady. All right, quick
Thank
break.
y'all.
We'll be right back. That's our buddy. Thank you, sir. David Collins from Collins and Company, one of our great sponsors here in the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Coming up next, take a look at high school sports here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. More from Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. 'Tis the season. Tell us what it's all about here, Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance.
It is. It's about asphalt and concrete. Asphalt paving, asphalt striping, asphalt sealing, asphalt crack fill, asphalt maintenance of all sorts, from driveways to basketball courts, sidewalks for concrete and driveways and pads. We've been in business for over 20 years serving the greater Northeast Tennessee area. So give us a call. Give us a call. We're building up for the year and taking off right now.
323-8726. You make that phone call, you get an estimator coming out to give you an estimate. Step us through that. How does that work?
Well, it's no obligation. So you call our office, and generally we're, next day, 2 or 3 days at most. We'll get we've got 2 estimators, a maintenance estimator and a paving estimator, and we'll get whichever fits your needs out there. And then, it's a conversation. We want to hear what you want and see what kind of, what shape your driveway's in, and just give you our recommendations. Sometimes, most of the time, that results in an estimate. Get a price on what it is for us to come out there and repair it. Sometimes it's just a conversation on, hey, we'll see you in a couple years, or, you don't need any work right now.
323-8726, the number to call. As you heard him say, for no obligation estimate. They'll be out in a couple of days, and they're in, they're out, they're on the way. They go all across the Tri-Cities geographically. They go all the different stops. So wherever you may be, you think maybe we're too far out. Nope, call and see. 323-8726. Social media, how do we find you?
You find us on Facebook, Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance.
Yep, and also on the web?
BrackenPaving.com.
There you go. And there it's just that easy, folks. Give these folks a call. Asphalt or concrete, Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Proud sponsors of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
The new Tempur-Pedics are here, and they're all on sale. Get a great night's sleep on the most recommended bed in America while getting 0% interest for 48 months with 0 down payment, plus free delivery, setup, and removal. You deserve a better night's rest. Get the Cannons Furniture in downtown Elizabethton today.
And back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We are live here again. Chick-fil-A in Elizabeth, 297-1266, the number to call. Let's take a look at girls soccer, the championships tonight. AAA Dobbins Minute plays at Science Hill. DB 15-5, Science Hill 15-3-2. They'll play that one at 6:30 in Johnson City. The AA soccer championship, Tennessee High 15-2-1 in Greenville at 11-9. And then the single A championship, University High tonight at 12-3-2, playing at Alcoa, who's 12-4-1 is their record. They'll play that one at 6:30. All right, volleyball from yesterday. Maryville defeats Westridge 3-1. The Lady Wolves have been eliminated by Coach Logan Kemp's team, but they made it in a great run nonetheless. They made it to the state championship. So who is still left? Brentwood, Houston, Hillsboro, Maryville, Cleveland, and Collierville are the ones still going in AAA volleyball. In AA, you have Greenville winning yesterday. They beat Murfreesboro Central 3-1. Tennessee High won. They beat Lexington 3-1. So today, our local teams, Greenville playing at 10:30 as we speak. They're playing Signal Mountain at 10:30. Tennessee High goes at 1, and they'll play Dyer County. If, let's see, the winner of Game 9, which if Greenville wins, they'll come back and play at 6 tonight. If Tennessee High wins, they'll come back and play at 6 tonight. So potentially Greenville and Tennessee High can play each other again if they both win here this afternoon and this morning. In single A state volleyball tournament play, South Green losing yesterday to Loretto 3-1. They're in the losers bracket. They've won one, lost one. They're playing this morning against CSAS at 10:30. And then they'll turn right around and play at 6 o'clock tonight to keep it trucking. So there you go. So good luck to our teams, Tennessee High and Greenville, and South Green still going in the state volleyball tournament in Middle Tennessee. All right. High school football, Friday night, Virginia. Who's playing where? John Battle at Gate City. Wise Central at Lehigh. Ridgeview at Abington to battle the Falcons. Twin Springs hosting Cumberland Gap. Also on Friday night, J.I. Burton at Castlewood. You have Eastside of Thomas Walker. And Virginia High, the Bearcats will be at Chilhowie. And that is the football schedule for Friday night in Virginia. In Tennessee, 1 tonight, up Stony Creek, Hampton at Unaka at 7:30 tonight. Other games, you have tomorrow night, West Ridge at Tennessee High, Oak Ridge at Dobbins Minute. We talked to Coach Christian yesterday from the Indians camp. Daniel Boone at Crockett, the Musketball tomorrow night in Jonesboro. Morristown East at Greenville tomorrow night. Jeff County at Morristown West. Hardin Valley at William Blunt. Bragging Rights at Hawkins County tomorrow night. Cherokee and Volunteer, they'll play that one in Churchill at 7:30. Cherokee's going to be in the realignment. They're going to be in our conference starting next year, so Cherokee will come on board. Granger at Claiborne tomorrow night, big rivalry game. Johnson County travels to Cloudland tomorrow evening. Pigeon Forge will be coming out of P. Forge to battle Happy Valley and Warriors Hill. South Green at Seymour. North Green at Chuckett Oak. Twin Springs, as we said, hosting Cumberland Gap. And Cosby at Sale Creek, S-A-L-E, Sale Creek. And, of course, the Cyclones off this week. Their open date. They'll come back again next Thursday night, a week from tonight, against Seymour for the senior night and the final home game of the regular season. That's what's coming up again for next Thursday night. We are live here again. We are. Doug Fritz going to be along a little bit later in the show talking about this reclassification. The TSSAA, let's see, Boone and Crockett won't be in the same district for several sports for the next 2 years. TSSAA recently releasing the numbers, splitting Boone and Crockett in the rivals into different districts for 4 sports. Crockett is the 5th largest 3A school in the state. Boone at the 2nd smallest 4A school in the state. So the Pioneers have until Monday to decide whether to remain in the same smaller classification or they could choose to move up. You can always move up. Can't move down. Josh Kite says it's not going to happen. They're going to stay at 3A. So Boone will go in as a 4A school. And I'm trying to read this as we go. Crockett will be a 3A school. So makes no sense to me. But you know what? As I do this show every day, a lot of things don't make sense to me. So see if I can find it here. It says this my reference point. Of course, Doug's going to be long trying to clear this up, which will be a good thing. So B6. See what this says here. I gandered at it a little bit and glanced at it this morning, trying to make heads or tails that make sense of it. I didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So, hello, ma'am. How are you? Hello, young lady. How are you? I'm doing great. Thank you. So, all right. So, let's see. All right, 4A, Cherokee's football program slotted into Class 4A, joining Volunteer, along with Elizabeth and Sullivan East and Greenville. West Green dropping down to 2A. So, yeah, this is really confusing. So I'm going to save and let Doug tell you about it, because he'll clear it up for you, because they're all over the road with this. West Green moving down, Crockett dropping down. Region 1 5A and Region 1 3A currently set as 4-team leagues, and you take the top 4, so every team is going to be guaranteed a playoff if I'm reading this correct. So, but anyway, it's confusing, and Elizabethton didn't move. some of the other schools did move. So we'll, again, let Doug Fritz tell you about that coming up at the bottom of the hour. And also going to be joined by Jeff Beverly Bevo, again, previewing what should be a blowout, a bloodletting, I would think, with Tennessee Martin coming to town. It could be a letdown. I don't think so. I don't think Josh Heupel's teams are going to have letdowns. I just don't see that. And I just don't think it's going to happen at all. So that's my take on it. But and I could be totally wrong. Lord knows I have been before. But I just don't think so. I think Tennessee's going to blow them out. So he'll talk more, I'm sure, about Alabama and looking into the future with Kentucky and Georgia right around the corner. Two big football games for Tennessee. Saturday's 12 o'clock kickoff will not be. I think it'll be a chance for a lot of guys to play and run the score up and, score a lot of points. A lot of guys get in there and get a chance to compete and strut their stuff, and I think that's what you'll see coming up on Saturday. Hey, we're live at Chick-fil-A here in Elizabeth on the show number 1724. We're taking tomorrow off to wrap up fall break and back ready to go with a full 5-day show coming up next week, beginning right back here on Monday at Chick-fil-A here in Elizabeth. All right, Big 12 trying to wheel and deal with the new media deals, right, in college sports with ESPN and Fox. The Big 12's current contract with ESPN expires after the 24-25 academic year. So right now they're looking, the commissioner, Brett Yormark, expects per-school media rights revenue to increase from its current deal. It's all about the money, folks. You can say what you want to, but college sports is all about the money. Big 12 schools are currently receiving $43 million annually for their media rights, a figure that includes revenue from the NCAA tournament games and bowl games. So without Bob Bowlesby, the former commissioner, says losing Texas and Oklahoma to the Southeastern Conference will cut that in half, down to about $21 million per school. So what does that mean? It means the loss of revenue, and a lot of programs will be altered because a lot of the schools' minor sports financially are driven by the football money. It's just the way it is. And so, or the media right money, I guess, across the board, but primarily it's football and basketball, some baseball, but minor sports don't really drive that bus financially like the big boys do in terms of sports, football and basketball. So, Bowlesby says you're going to go from 43 down to about 21 when you lose Texas and Oklahoma. So they got to come up with something to enhance the media folks, a.k.a. ESPN and Fox, to come back and write checks and spend money and promote and broadcast Big 12 sports. And, again, the main one, of course, would be Big 12 football. So we'll see. All right, games involving ranked teams this week. Coming up on Saturday, number 9, UCLA, number 10, Oregon. Top two teams each coming off bye weeks. UCLA coach Chip Kelly returning to Oregon, where he was head coach for 4 seasons. UCLA quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Bo Nix going head-to-head. The winner has the inside track to the Pac-12 championship. That's coming up on Saturday, UCLA at Oregon. So you go to the next one. Number 14, Syracuse will play at number 5, Clemson at noon on Saturday. So the quarterback, DJ, for Clemson has become a running quarterback. He has shed more than 30 pounds in a quest to be more athletic on the field. He's gotten healthy after dealing with a bum knee for most of last season. So this guy is running the football 312 yards on designated runs, and he had all last season. He has rushed for 60 yards or more in 4 of his last 5 games. Talking about the quarterback, Clemson. So this guy is, Dabo's got him running the football more now. So, and they'll play again at Clemson. I think the Tigers win this one. I think they're the real deal. I think they're 5th in the country for a reason. I don't think they're overrated. I think they're a very good football team. I've got them beating Syracuse coming up on Saturday. Number 6, Alabama hosting number 24, Mississippi State on Saturday night at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Alabama's penalties, 66, the most of any team in the FBS this season. Mississippi State's tied for 26 with 48 penalties. It could be a flag fest. Now, say what you want, Alabama in large part lost that game last Saturday because of the 17 penalties. You can't beat somebody. I don't care who you are. I'm not taking up for them. I'm just telling you, man, I like Alabama. I'm not in love with them. I like them. But I don't care what level you're playing in, whether it's T.A. Duggar, Elizabethton, East Tennessee State, UT, pick a school, pick a game. If you have 17 penalties in a game, you're going to be hard pressed to beat them. In fact, I would go on record and say you're not going to beat them, and Alabama didn't. And yet, kid makes the field goal, the game's over. So they were still in position to win the game, even though they had 17 penalties. So they've got 66, the most of any team in the FBS this season. Do they make dumb moves? Are they undisciplined? I don't know how you describe it. How would you critique it? But it is what it is. 66 penalties, more than any other school in the FBS, is Alabama, which is very un-Nick Saban characteristic football team, no question. They're typically much more disciplined. So, great quarterback battle. Will Rogers for Mississippi State and Bryce Young for Alabama. Rogers, third most passing in the country with over 2,300 yards already. Young is eighth in the country. So, we'll see. Be a great signature win for Mississippi State. When was the last time Alabama lost 2 in a row? It's been a while, so that's a stat we need to look up, because it's been a while since Alabama's lost 2 in a row, and that's, of course, a 50-50 shot that can happen on Saturday evening in Alabama. Number 7, Ole Miss at LSU on Saturday. Yep, should be a good football game. Ole Miss can start, if they win Saturday over LSU, then go 8-0 in a season for the first time since the 1962 SEC championship team. Now, Alabama, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, they run the ball as well as anybody. Quinshon Judkins and Zach Evans are the only pair of teammates in the country with more than 600 yards rushing apiece. That's the running backs for Ole Miss. They can do it. Judkins and Evans. Judkins was 720 and Evans was 605. So the two running backs for Ole Miss can tote the mail. Rebels make big plays on offense. They don't give up many on defense. Kiffin's team has won 11 straight regular season games dating back to last season. Says LSU is the most talented opponent by far the Rebels will be facing. LSU 5-2. They were exposed in the offensive line a couple of weeks ago by the beatdown with the Vols, 40-13. They had to rally from a 17-0 deficit at Auburn 3 weeks ago to win that one 21-17. LSU's won 5 of its past 6 games after the season opening loss to Florida State. They won 45-35 last week in Florida to battle and beat the Gators. So, anyway, it's going to be an interesting football game. They'll play that one down in Baton Rouge, as they say. And that will be coming up at 3:30 on Saturday in LSU. Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live here again at Chick-fil-A in Elizabethton. Coming up, we'll talk to Mike. Mr. Mike Hedrick, NASCAR Fans Reporter, coming up next. Last game, number 17, Kansas State, number 8, Texas Christian. The Horned Frogs. I like that. Wildcat quarterback Adrian Martinez, 4-year starter in Nebraska. Threw 45 touchdowns to 30 interceptions for the Huskers before transferring to K-State. He's thrown for 900 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions this season. So, there you go. The Horned Frogs will be hosting the Kansas State Wildcats. Max Duggan, the quarterback for TCU, 1,591 yards, 16 touchdowns, only 1 pick. So, the winner of this one will be in the driver's seat down the stretch in the Big 12 race. One of the teams suffering its first conference loss on Saturday. So that's the games involving top 25 football on Saturday. Of course, Tennessee's got Tennessee Martin, and that should not be a game at all. So, quite frankly, but, they play it on the field, not on paper, but again, if you've beaten Pitt, LSU, Florida, and Alabama, 2 of those been on the road, you know what's coming for Tennessee Martin. In fact, Jeff Beverly will tell us all about that coming up a little bit later in the show. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're live here. We're on the road. We're at Chick-fil-A in Elizabeth. And coming up next, we'll be joined by the young lady, or not the young lady, we'll be joined by Mike Hedrick, NASCAR Fans Reporter. But first, here is the young lady we're talking about, Andrea Lewis from Northeast Community Credit Union on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Tell me all about that, would you please?
Oh yeah, we have several free resources. We have anything like that. You go right on our website, bemycu.org, go to resources, and then you can find financial calculators, and it's just really cool. It does the work for you, and then we got the financial planner available for you at the main office, always there to help you. She is wonderful. And then this week we are opening our student branches, and I'm going to bring Velda in next week, and she's going to tell you a little bit about student branches and what that entails next week. And electronic services such as bill pay, e-statements, mobile app, all that fun stuff. We have insurance products, accidental death or dismemberment. That's free to our members. 2,000 of that. You just have to be a member and turn it in. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
And discounted tickets. People love those. You got Dollywood, Carowinds, Biltmore tickets. If you want more information, once again, you visit bemycu.org and get those. And then we've got Business Spotlight for business accounts. You can display your business at one of our 4 locations when it's available all month, and it's free, and showcase what you got.
Locations are where?
In Roe Mountain, in Elizabethan, one on 19E, and then one behind Elizabethan High School. And then we've got one in Johnson City off of West Oakland Avenue.
You've already said it, but again, social media, how do we find you?
You find me at Northeast Community Credit Union on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or bemycu.org, or you can call us at 423-547-1200.
One of the great sponsors of the Tom Miller Sports Show, the great folks again at Northeast Community Credit Union, our good friend, Miss Andrea Lewis. Back on the Tom Miller Sports Show, let's go to the Ponies era buddy Mike Hedrick, our NASCAR fans reporter. Good afternoon, sir. How's the weather in Northern Virginia?
We're doing pretty good up here. We've got sunny skies out there. Looking at my little weather bug thing on the top of my house there. It looks like it's 57 degrees out there with a light breeze and sunny skies. Looks like a beautiful day there, Tom.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood is down here, too. A beautiful fall day in the hills of East Tennessee. Mike's our NASCAR fan reporter. And, well, we got lots to talk about. Let's jump by in there and go back and recap last week at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Had some fireworks involving Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson. Let's address that first and tell us what happened and what was the end result. NASCAR kind of lowered the boom on Bubba Wallace. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, and shamefully, a couple of really good race cars got tore up in there. Early on in the race, it's a 267-lap race. Bubba Wallace was in a very fast car. He led stage 1, got the stage points. But at lap 94, in a miscalculation, Kyle Larson came up the track and kind of got into him and bumped him and knocked him into the wall a little bit. Wouldn't have wrecked either one of the cars totally out. And then sadly, and in retaliation, Bubba Wallace came down and deliberately right hooked Kyle Larson's car, spinning him into traffic, hitting playoff driver Christopher Bell's car, knocking him out of the race. Kyle Larson spun to the infield. And then Bubba Wallace ran down there, started pushing and shoving. Kyle Larson didn't respond back in any physical way. Got kind of pushed around there a bunch. And then as Bubba Wallace for a strike 3, as he was heading mandatory go to the infield care center, he actually pushed and shoved a NASCAR official. That would have been strike 3. So NASCAR has got in there. Everybody was a big buzz the other day, wondering what the penalty was going to be, what it's going to, what's going to be, whether it's going to be points and fines and suspension. And what it wound up being, it's being a one race suspension. They're going to sit him out this week here at Homestead, Miami, excuse me. John Hunter Nemechek's going to be in there. But oddly, no points were levied against him and his team, and also no money fine. So I'm a little bit changed. Everybody would have thought it would have been the other way, maybe money and the points and not the suspension. But they one race suspension. It's very sad because Bubba Wallace always goes around like with a chip on the shoulder, like everybody's picking on him. And then when he gets in a situation like this, he really makes an unfortunate and very dangerous mistake in making that wreck there. And other drivers have come out very vocal about this. Kevin Harvick said there is no place for this. Joey Logano said there is no place for this in racing, and I think that they would have wished that Kyle Petty said that he should have been sat down for the rest of the season, but very unfortunate. Joey Logano went on to win the race. Joey Logano, third win this season, 30th of his career, puts him 29th on the all-time wins list, and seventh among the drivers. And that big thing about him, moves him on, locks him in to the next round of the playoffs, so he can kind of take comfort in these next 2 races. He's locked in, but really unfortunate there, Tom.
Is the penalty severe enough? I guess is what I'm going to ask you.
I'm going to be of the opinion that no, it's not severe. Bubba Wallace was out there. The reason he even switched cars, if people remember, at the beginning of the season or since he's been at 2311, he's driven the 23 car. after Kurt Busch came out of the car and Ty Gibbs came into the number 45 car, it actually was doing better in the owner's points because of Kurt Busch. And so they moved Bubba Wallace in for points. Everything was all about him being in that car for points. And so I think it's very unfortunate that they didn't levy points against the team to really show them how severe this is. And, and you always, the best way to touch a guy is you touch his wallet. And so I'm surprised they didn't do that. I think it should have been all three, Tom. And I'm kind of I don't want to just come down on Bubba Wallace that they throw the book at him, because a couple of other guys this year here, and Noah Gregson got out there and intentionally wrecked a fellow. And we've had a couple of times where they didn't suspend the guy. NASCAR's out there dancing a delicate line with the politics and the fact that Darrell Wallace is an African American, and they know that they're going to be criticized one side or the other. No matter what they do, they're either going to get criticized as being too harsh or too lenient. So it's just unfortunate. I think everybody's going to move on from this, but they're going to remember this. This is going to leave an ugly taste in a lot of people's mouth about Darrell Wallace. And him, and a little bit about the team. Like I said earlier, when we were off the microphone, we've heard just about from everybody. Denny Hamlin, he's a team owner. We've heard from NASCAR. We've heard from different drivers. The person I'd like to hear from is the owner, is Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, the greatest competitor. The man has the highest reputation, the highest amount of respect of just about any athlete out there of all time, of all sports. And I would like to hear from him. Does this represent you, and what do you think about this, and how would you do that? Me personally, I would like to see Michael Jordan suspend Darrell Wallace, the team do it, and say, you know what, we understand that this was just, it was very dangerous. I mean, if you bounce somebody into the wall a little bit, or if you're at a slow track, that's one thing. But they're at a high-speed, super speed, I'm not a super speedway, but a high-speed track. When you right hook a guy, that sends him back into the traffic. And like I said, he got back into the traffic, hit Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell wound up knocking him out of the race, and that puts him at the bottom of the playoff hunt. So it had really big implications. I would like to have seen a little bit more penalty there, Tom.
Well, you're right. If he's going 20 miles an hour on a Martinsville track, or going 200 miles an hour at Michigan or Talladega, wherever, what he did was wrong, and he needs to be punished. And, they need to make an example of him, because we'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Doesn't matter who his team is. Doesn't matter, quite frankly, his skin color. I mean, it could have been things could have gotten really bad really quick. And Kyle Larson says, I like his quote. He says, look, I'm 5'8", 135 pounds, sucking wet. I ain't gonna whip nobody. I understand. I ain't gonna fight anybody, and I get that. But what he did, I mean, and you're exactly right. It's a reflection on the Michael Jordan race team. So you got to see what they're going to do, and I guess they're doing it one race. John Hunter Nemechek's going to replace him this week, and he'll be back in the car. So I guess it'll be interesting for me to see going forward. Has he learned his lesson, or leopard doesn't lose his spots, as they say back home? And is this going to be another problem for Bubba going down the road? Because he says, by his own admission, he's moody. So we'll see. But Kyle Larson, I think, handled it very well. And you're right. The one that needs to really come out and say yay, nay, or otherwise would be either Denny Hamlin or Michael Jordan, the guys that own the team, primarily MJ. But he hasn't yet, so we'll see. But, again, as we said, Bubba Wallace is out this week, out of the car, literally. Now, do you get to go into the pits and watch in street clothes? You got to stay somewhere. You got to stay completely away from the track. What's the ruling when you're suspended? Can you still be there in person, not in uniform, or you have to be completely away?
You can't be in any of the competition areas. So he could be in the stand somewhere,
right?
But he can't be down on pit road. He can't be inside the track. I mean, he could be out there with the haulers. Generally, in these kind of situations, he'll stay home in Charlotte, and he'll go into the 2311 war room, where they'll have all the cameras, and they'll have all the telemetry data and all that kind of stuff. And so Kurt Busch has been there for a couple of the races, and I think they'll have him there. He may be at the track, but I would be really surprised. We'll have to see. I think Joey Logano's comment when he watched it, of course he was in the car when everything happened, but when he went back and watched it, he said his real first impression was, the first thing he thought was, that could have ended Kyle Larson's career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could have killed him, but that right there was very close to possibly ending his career. And he goes, that's a game changer when somebody is willing to take that kind of risk with your life. And that's yeah, I think people are going to be more hesitant around young Darrell Wallace out there. So unfortunate for everybody. Hey, but put to everybody, like I said, the Joey Logano win, that locks him into this next round. And so of the 4 guys that are looking to it right now, Joey Logano is locked in. Ross Chastain with 18 points in the lead. Chase Elliott, 17 points in the lead. And Denny Hamlin with 6 points in the favor. Just under the cut line right now with 2 more races is young William Byron. He's 6 points out. Chase Briscoe is 9 points out. Ryan Blaney, still without a win this year here, is 11 points out. And because of that crash there, Christopher Bell is 23 points out. So I think if everybody except for Joey Logano, the fever and the tensions are going to be ramping up. You got to put this behind you, especially if you're in the playoffs. You got to go to Homestead, Miami, and try to get you a win and lock yourself in before you get to crazy Martinsville.
So you have, after this, we'll get into Homestead here in a second. So you have Homestead, you have Martinsville, and then you have Phoenix. Is that correct? They have 2 more races. Am I right?
Yeah, there's only 2 more races to knock Ross Chastain out of this. I think somebody's going to do it. He's up there sitting in the good, but I think he's just kind of rubbed the edges with just too many drivers, especially Denny Hamlin sitting just below him. I think, that they just might have to swing a little wide, swing wide, sweet chariot, and just take just a little bump and run there.
Exactly.
We know about that from Bristol. I think before we get to Phoenix, I mean, he might make it in, but I think Ross Chastain, he's just got that big bullseye on his back, Tom. So we'll have to see how it goes.
We're live at Chick-fil-A in Elizabethton on the Tom Douglas Sports Overtime of Mike Henry. NASCAR Fans Reporter coming up. Going to be joined by Doug Fritz, Johnson City Press, and also Jeff Beverly previewing the Tennessee Martin football game on Saturday. But right now we're talking NASCAR. Mike, what's the latest on the Truck Series, and what's the latest on the Xfinity Series playoff races in those divisions?
Well, last time we left the truck guys, they had just raced over at Charlotte on the Roval, and Ty Majeski, a young guy, got the win, so he's locked in. So right now, if you look at their playoffs, like I said, Ty Majeski's locked in. Sitting Chandler Smith has got 30-point advantage. Zane Smith been doing real great, 3 wins for him this season, 18-point advantage. And then Ben Rhodes with 3-point advantage sitting in the good. Just under the line is Christian Eckes, 3 points out. Stuart Friesen, 3 points out. And then John Hunter Nemechek, 5 points out. And sitting way out is Grant Enfinger, 29 points out. So these guys might still be able to point a little bit of race here when they get to Homestead and see how they do. Last year, Kyle Busch won the truck racing. He's not going to be in that. So I think it's going to be down to these guys. And John Hunter Nemechek, he's on fire. He's also got another opportunity. He's going to get a little bit more time kind of after his race because he's going to be in the race replacing Bubba Wallace, as we said. But crazy for those guys. The Xfinity guys, actually kind of fun. Josh Berry, who's just everybody's been fun. He got the win when we were at Las Vegas this last weekend. Josh Berry is a guy that came up, drove for Junior Motorsports for a handful of years in the late model divisions and got championship after championship. I guess after a few, they said, hey, Josh, we'll put you in the car. This was last year. We'll put you in the car for 3 races, see how you do. The guy went out there and won Martinsville. They put him in a handful of more races. He did really well. They got him out there full-time this season, doing really well, won that race. Locking himself into the playoffs. Just announced this week here at Junior Motorsports, he's going to be coming back full-time with them. Justin Allgaier is going to be coming back full-time with them. So if you look over in the points for Xfinity, like I said, Josh Berry is locked in. Noah Gragson, 44-point lead. Ty Gibbs, 25-point lead. And Justin Allgaier, 15-point lead. On the outside, Austin Hill, rookie, 15 points out. A.J. Allmendinger, 16 points out. Brandon Jones, 27 points out, and young Sam Mayer, 37 points out. So when we get to Miami, there's going to be 3 great races. It's coming down. This isn't the cutoff. We've got one more when we get to Martinsville for everybody. That's going to be the cutoff. But I think we're going to see it heated up in each of these different series. I mean, you look at the Xfinity series, and yeah, sure, Josh Berry's got the win out there, but Noah Gragson has just been on fire this year. 7 wins. He knows he's going up to the Cup Series, and then Ty Gibbs. He's he's got 5 wins this year, doing very well, poised just to get himself into that final race. I think that's where he's going to make the move. Joe Gibbs, the coach, announced just today, I saw this on Twitter just a bit ago, that Joe Gibbs Racing will announce the 23 lineup for all the drivers after the end of the season. So we don't know whether – we think Ty Gibbs is coming up, but we don't know whether he'll be in the 18, if they're going to use the 54. But, yeah, all 3 of the series are really heating up in Homestead, Miami, it's going to be a great place to watch at it, Tom.
Mike, tell us about the track at Homestead coming up this weekend. That's is it a cookie cutter track? Is it like Bristol? Is it like Talladega? Describe for us the track in Miami, would you please, Homestead?
Well, there for the longest time, it was one of the most important tracks there at all. I wind up calling it Miami Homestead, but it's Homestead Miami Speedway, opened in 1995. Now, from 2002 to 2019, it was the final race for all three series, and so they only go there one time a year, and that makes that race so very important. It's a mile and a half. It's an asphalt track. It's got progressive 18 to 20 degree banking. When you look at the records for the most wins, it's the Biff. It's Tony Stewart. It's Denny Hamlin with 3 wins by those guys. But of the current drivers, really only 7 drivers out there have wins, and only 3 of them are in the playoffs. If you look at it right now, Denny Hamlin has the most wins. He has 3 wins. Kyle Busch has 2 wins. And then drivers that have 1 win are going to be Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Truex, Logano, and Willie B. I went and looked at it a little bit further. I went pulled up everybody's page to see how they did, how many races they have. Like I said, there's only 3 guys that have wins, and it's Denny Hamlin. He's got 3, and he has 5 top 5s. Now, the other guys that have wins was Joey Logano. Now, Joey Logano has the win, but he only has 1 top 5, which is that win, which means he's not getting into the top 5 other than unless he wins that. Same with William Byron. William Byron has just 1 win there in the 4 races he's been there, and he only has 1 top 5. So if he's not winning, he's not even in the top 5. Whereas Denny Hamlin has 3 wins, but he knows how to get in there. He's been in the top 5 times, and his worst spot is like a 33rd. So I think when we're watching it, there's a lot going on. Last year, William Byron won the race in the Cup Series. Myatt Snyder won the Xfinity Series, and like I said just a bit ago, Kyle Busch had won in the Truck Series.
So your poll winners are Hamlin with 3, Harvick's got 1, Logano's got 1 with the active drivers. The wins, as you said, Hamlin's got 3. Kyle Busch, who's not in the playoffs, obviously has 2. And then Byron, Logano, Truex Jr., and Harvick all have 1 each amongst the active drivers. So if you looked at it, you'd have to think, I guess, Denny Hamlin would be your favorite. He's got 3 wins coming in. So is he the guy everybody thinks would be the favorite to win this thing on Sunday?
I'm seeing a lot of people, leaning towards him, and plus you add to the fact that he's a playoff driver. There's other guys. I'm hearing Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick is on fire this year here, and he's got a good shot at winning this. He does very well at Miami Homestead. He's the kind of guy that likes to ride all the way up against that wall and just kind of hang there, and that's the kind of driving you need. You need to be fearless at Miami, get against that wall and have that little bit of cushion. But I think nowadays we're getting so close to the playoffs. I think that these ones are going to start getting won by playoff drivers. We've had a bunch of different guys win these things, but as we get here closer, like this weekend here, for example, playoff driver Joey Logano gets to win. I think these next couple of wins until we get to Phoenix, and we'll have to see how they're, I think you're going to need to win one of these playoff drivers. Is going to be one of those guys. And the guys that need it the most are, Christopher Bell sitting way down on the points thing, and then Ryan Blaney sitting in there but still doesn't have a win. Is he going to get a championship and never even get a win? We'll have to see how that goes. But I think I would be leaning towards with the playoff drivers, and Denny Hamlin would be a good pick, Tom.
So the 4 guys in trouble, if I'm reading this right, is Byron, Briscoe, Blaney, and Bell. These 4 Bs, these are the guys who are in trouble. They're the bottom 4 of the points. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. William Byron, the first couple guys aren't too bad. William Byron 6 points out to Blaney's. He's down to 11. You can make up some points in the race. You can try to maybe not go for the win, in these 2 races. But when you get down to Christopher Bell, that's 23 points out. You got to have a stellar day, and other guys got to do really bad. So I think of those 3 guys, the other top 3 guys may be points racing. Christopher Bell's just got to go for the win, and he's shown that he can do it. He's got 2 wins this season. This might be the year that he pulls on, and this might be the championship year for Christopher Bell. Don't count him out just yet.
Our competition is tightened up. In fact, you've regained the lead. I didn't do well last week. So before we get into this week's picks, tell me how things went last week. It went real good for you and not real good for me.
Yeah, to remind everybody, me and Tom started picking back in Bristol, and we're just trying to pick who we think are going to be the 2 guys that we think have a good shot for the win, maybe a good one, maybe an underdog. And then how they finished, and we total up those points, and whoever has the lower number, then that's going to be the guy in the lead. Here for the longest time, the first 10 races, Tom was in the lead. I briefly, for 4 races, I got in the lead. Now Tom had had been in the lead for 9 races until this weekend here, Tom. I actually picked really good. I picked Joey Logano. He was the race winner, so I get to do a -10 for him. And then I had Ty Gibbs. He got a nice 22. So I walked away from this week here with 12 points. You had Brad Keselowski, did pretty good at 17. Denny Hamlin, a good finish at 5th. So you have a total of 22. We combine those scores, and we are now at, for you, 833 and 832 for me. I have taken a 1-point lead in this whole thing, Tom, with just a couple of races to go. So I don't know how I did it, but I've scraped and clawed and everything to regain that lead back from, such a talent as you there, Tom.
And you've done well. So we're down to the picking for this week. They're in Homestead on Sunday with the Dixie Vodka 400. So you won it. You go first. Who's your 2 picks?
You know what? I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna go with the Tyler Reddick for 1. I think he's a good young driver. I know I just said it would be a playoff driver, but I'm throwing him in there. But then for a playoff driver, I'm gonna do Christopher Bell. He really needs to get the win. If he's gonna be a champion, then this is the kind of race. This is the kind of situation that champions step up to and get this. If he gets this win here, I think you really got to watch him for the championship. So that's going to be my 2 picks there. I'm going with Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell there, Tom.
I'm going with Chase Elliott, and we'll go with Denny Hamlin. Elliott to win it, my dark horse will be Hamlin. We'll see how that goes. So that's my boys for this week, and hopefully they can bring me get this thing turned around as I'm down a point. We're heading into the final couple of races, Martinsville in the championship, Sunday coming up in Phoenix in a couple of weeks. So there we go. Mike takes Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell. I'll take Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin. We'll see how it goes, and we'll find out next Thursday. We'll rejoin each other. Mike, what do you want to leave us with, my friend? Great report as always, and how do you want to close out, sir?
I appreciate that. Hey, I just give you a heads up, Tom. You've probably been sitting there while we've had this blue screen up with that handsome fellow up there. You've probably been sitting there eating some of that fine macaroni and cheese. So clean your beard up a little bit before you go back on camera there, Tom. Hey, I love you, boy. Hey, everybody have a great weekend. God bless everybody real good. And woo-hoo-hoo!
There's my man. Great guy. Does a wonderful job. Appreciate it very much. Our buddy, again, the one, the only Mike Hedrick. We are live here again, as we are. We're at Chick-fil-A. It is busy. It's lunchtime, and it's good. We like it. Coming up, check it in with Doug Fritz, Johnson City Press, Kingsport Times News. But first, the verse of the day. Let's bring it to you. Psalms 13, 5 and 6. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. Verse 6, I will sing to the Lord, for he has been good to me. Boy, he has. All right, Psalms 13, verses 5 and 6. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. Verse 6, I will sing to the Lord, for he has been good to me. And that is the verse of the day from Psalms 13, verses 5 and 6. Doug Fritz next on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. But first, this from Guardian Homes.
Here's Jordan Hodges from Guardian Homes. And what's going on? What's the latest, man? What's happening?
If you have anybody or any family, friends that you know that's been in the real estate market lately, they'll know how crazy it is. So it's wild. Supply chain, market demand, everything seems to be on fire. So we've been busy, we've been blessed, we've been thankful. One of the things that we've encountered here lately on the custom side, on our custom builds, the schedule's getting backed up. So we're hearing a lot of questions of people wanting to build and wanting to start now. But the schedule's so backed up that we've been, in some cases, in some areas, we're pushed back almost into next year. So, but those are all good things, good blessings. But there is a lot of questions out there from folks that are trying to understand, why the delays are so much. But the good thing about that is, one thing that we instilled about 6 months ago, we started a higher number of speculative houses that we're building on our own. So we will still have product out there available. In fact, monthly, we're going to be rolling out houses all across the Tri-Cities. So folks will have something that they can actually move into in 6-8 weeks from the time we put it on the market for sale.
Are there different styles? Is it pretty much the same?
Oh, yeah. So we are covering all bases. We have different styles of plans depending on the occupancy's living constraints. We got 1 levels, 2 stories, 2 bedrooms, all the way up to 5 bedrooms. Basements, slabs, you name it. We've got it all. Big thing to talk about right now is we've got some major subdivisions going on. We got one in Greenville, Tennessee that's getting ready to roll out. You'll be seeing some properties come available from us down there. Big one that we've been talking about here lately is the one in Elizabethton. So west end of Elizabethton will have a new development rolling out in early 2022. It'll be named The Landings. And then we also currently are finishing up a development where we're going to start some one-level luxury living in Colonial Heights. So there's a lot of product that's coming.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So social media folks out there going, I want to see what he's doing. I want to know what Guardian Homes is all about. How do we find that?
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook. We do Facebook and Instagram both. Our team does a good job of trying to keep that stuff updated. They put a lot of surveys on there too. We like to know what our mindset is with our customers. So encourage you to go on there and check that out.
Yep. And you go to it again how?
Guardian Homes through Facebook and Instagram, but you can get to us at our website, guardianhomestn.com.
There you go. One of our great sponsors right here. We love him. Cyclone Sports and the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Brother Hodges, Jordan Hodges, and the gang from Guardian Homes here on Cyclone Sports and the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Hey, my name is Dante, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A nuggets is the authentic taste of it. You can tell it's freshly breaded, seasoned perfectly, and it just has this unique taste that compares to no other. Once I bite into it,
My name is Meredith, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese is the oven-toasted, cheesy top layer. If home had a flavor, it would be Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese. I'm passionate about it.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, let's go to the phone live. He's there, Doug Fritz, John C. Press, Kingsport Times News sports writer. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Goodness gracious. Beautiful fall day here in the hills of East Tennessee. All right, the reclassification. I tried to make heads or tails of your article, which you did a good job, but I think I'm just a dumb old country boy. I didn't get it, so I'm going to ask you to step in there and explain the TSSAA again. Reclassification going on for the next 2 years. You can play up, you can't play down. So I know Boone and Crockett's been affected by this. So kind of step us through. How does this all shake out, and you know, kind of what's going on in reclassification?
Well, when they every 2 years schools submit their enrollment numbers to the TSSAA, and then they start mixing and matching things based on those numbers. And you know, Crockett lost a few kids, and Boone lost a few kids, and but Crockett lost enough to slip into a lower classification there. And that happened the same thing with Cherokee and with West Green. And so these schools have the opportunity to play down, play in a different league, and play against different competition, which I think sometimes in the past you had teams that didn't stick with that and decided to go a different direction. But it all depends on travel and that sort of thing, and whose league you want to be in with and stuff. Elizabethton's been there before because where they've been classified and having a chance to move up and play in a different classification, that's been the thing that they've wanted to do, and it obviously worked out well for them in recent years.
So who's impacted? Let's start at 6A, and with Dobbins Bennett roll down. DB and Science Hill, does that stay the same? Or they stay the same?
Yeah, everything stays the same. As far as, seeing it's different sports. You've got 6 classes in football, 4 in basketball, baseball, and softball, 3 in volleyball, 3 in soccer, 3 in track and field, 3 in cross country, 2 in golf, and 2 in wrestling. So it's just a mishmash of sports. But if we're talking strictly football, then things stayed the same for Science Hill and DB.
Okay. Then you get into 5A, which the waters get a little murky. Tell us how that goes with Crockett and Boone and some of the other schools locally.
Well, it's a 5-team league with Cherokee in there, so now Cherokee moves down to 4A. So these 4 teams in that league with Tennessee High, Crockett, Boone, and Morristown West. And there's talk that Cotton County will get pulled into that league to make it a 5-team league. But one of the important things to understand about this whole deal is TSSAA can do what they want. They can leave leagues as 4-team leagues. They can pull teams from the outer reaches and stick them in a league, and you just never. That's why one of the reasons why Josh Kite was saying, until I see it on paper, the Crockett Athletic Director saying, until I see the regions on paper and see how they're splitting all this stuff up, when it's locked and loaded at that point, that's when you start knowing for sure. Because TSSAA can't force a team to play up, but they certainly can change the landscape of the regions and districts and so forth in any way they see fit.
Yep, you're right. And so they kind of call the shots, and it's an absolute. You can't really counter, you can't really protest or whatever. What they send you is what they send you, and so Crockett and Boone are most affected. Dropping down into 4A and 3A, are any schools going to be impacted up here in those leagues, in those classes?
Well, again, kind of sticking with the football theme, Class 3A just has 4 teams right now with West Green dropping from 3A to 2A. It looks like TSSAA will, if they move somebody in, it's probably Union County. Could be they move in Gatlinburg, Pittman, and Pigeon Forge also. Could be a 5-team league. Could be a 6-team league, could be a 7-team league, or they might just leave them at 4. You just don't really know. But the 2A league goes from 4 to 5. I think that will stay the same. And the 1A league, I think, will stay at 5 teams as well. I don't think there'll be any movement there.
We're talking to Doug Fritz. What about the 2As and 1As, even farther down to the smaller school classifications? Everything going to stay the same up here in Northeast Tennessee, or is it going to change?
Yeah, I think it's mostly the same. You get into some of these things, there might be some bounce around a little bit, in some of the other sports and stuff. But it's. I think the biggest thing of it all, you're going to see Boone and Crockett in different leagues. I think that's the thing that stands out. You're looking at the potential right now of in basketball, baseball, and softball. Excuse me. Daniel Boone, Westridge, Sighthill, and DB are right now in a 4-team league, and in basketball, baseball, and softball. And you start thinking about, that's only 6 conference games unless you play each other twice. But there's talk of moving Morristown West, Morristown East, Jeff County in there with them. Then you get a big league with a lot of travel. So before it's said and done, it's hard to say how things are actually going to play out. We could have some big changes based on how they do the regions and districts and stuff, and where they make, when you're talking baseball and softball, as well as, from covering games and stuff, if you drive down to, Science Hill drives down to Jeff County to play a baseball game and gets rained out in the 3rd inning.
Yep.
Then they got to come back the next day and try and play again and get back down there, more rain trouble, and what you got to do? Come play again a 3rd day. And at that point, think of all the bus money, gas money that you put in your buses. You're feeding the kids and wear and tear on the buses and fans going back and forth. I mean, it's a little different going from Science Hill to Westridge than it is from going from Science Hill to Jeff County or Morristown.
So let's go basketball. 6 classes. They're going to keep it at 6?
No, it's 4. It's 4 in basketball, baseball, and softball. And that's one of the problems. For somebody who keeps up with this stuff, or at least tries to, I get confused in this is this, but you've got, let me count the sports here just real quick here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 11 sports if I didn't miss any. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 different classifications for 11 sports. So, Science Hills with DB and football, or let's look at Daniel Boone. So they're with Science Hill and DB and football. But then, Crockett's with Boone in football, but then Crockett and Boone are separated in basketball. Crockett and Boone are back together in volleyball. Crockett and Boone are separated in soccer. I mean, so you just looking at one little picture of it, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's hard for the fans. It's hard for kids. It's hard for rivalries. some uniformity needs to come back to this, and whatever they need to do to make it good across the board, to where you're playing the same teams in different sports. I mean, that's old school, but that was good school.
Exactly. So football will stay 6 classes? Is that right?
Yeah.
So
and then basketball, baseball, and softball's 4.
Football's going to be 6. All right. What about soccer?
Soccer will be 3. And that's the way it was, but you're going to have some movement because you got Crockett moving from 3 to 2. So now you've only got Boone, Westridge, Sciencefield, DB in the 3A, and you got Crockett down the 2A with Greenville, Elizabeth, and Volunteer, Tennessee High, Unicorn, Solomon East.
Yeah. All right, so you got soccer, 3. Well, who am I leaving out? Golf and tennis?
Well, you got volleyball's 3.
VB, yeah.
Volleyball's 3. Track and field and cross country are both 3, but here's the thing: 3 classifications in track and field. You got single A, double A, and triple A, or 1A, 2A, 3A, however you want to say it. But in cross country, you got triple A and A, double A.
Yeah.
And then in golf and tennis, you got class A and class double A. You couldn't throw it in a hat and just spill it on the table and make it any more confusing than they made it.
You got it. So, and it's not even final, right? There still can be some tweaking going on between now and November. Is that correct?
Well, the only thing that's going to all those classifications are set. None of that's going to change. I mean, that's the one good thing. You've got till Monday. Crockett has until Monday. Cherokee has until Monday. West Green has until Monday to say, I'm staying where you put me, or I'm moving up, or just randomly. I mean, see the way this thing works. So Elizabethton, let's just say Elizabethton's 4A in football. Well, Elizabethton could just say, well, I want to play 5A next year because I see that in the 5A league they've only got 4 teams, so I'm going to bump up there and play with them. They could do that. They have to make that decision by Monday. But generally, that stuff's not going to happen. There's been no talk of it that I know of, anyway. But once teams have decided where they're going to play, then the only thing that changes after that is who you're in with in district and regions, and that won't be decided until probably around November 10th. They'll release that, and then November 17th they'll have a board of control meeting. Then November 21st. They're going to, and this is another thing that's new too. On November 21st, TWSAA is going to load your football schedule into the portal. Teams are already going in and saying, I want this week off or I want that week off, all across the state. And a lot of teams are going in and getting week 9. That was 78% of the teams that submitted early were going after week 9. And I asked TWSAA, I said, so what if everybody wants week 9 off? There'll just be no football games that week?
There you go.
Their response was, well, it's going to change, and it already dropped to 68%. It won't be like that, so forth, so on. But theoretically, if everybody wanted week 9 off, you'd play 8 weeks of football, and then there'd be a week in the middle of the fall with no high school football in Tennessee.
There you go.
So anyway,
That's
people
crazy.
go in, they request their week off, and then the TWSAA spits out a schedule. You no longer get to figure out your own region schedule. You just get it handed to you. So if they want to make Elizabeth and Greenville play in week 1, which they won't do that, but they could. And then, if they want to make them play in week 11, they can. And you just take whatever region schedule you get. Then once you have your region schedule, you go out and search for crumbs and hunt the byways and backwoods to try and find some non-conference opponents, especially for some of these teams that have trouble finding people. So, kudos to the TWSAA for being consistent in just making things a mess sometimes.
There you go. There you go. And again, they're the ivory tower, and so whatever they rule is what they rule. There's really no blowback. If it happens, it happens. You don't really have any leg to stand on, quite frankly. What they say is what they say, and it's final. All right. Pick and panel, we'll sort that out some more when we get into November. Let's do a pick and panel tonight. We got game up Stony Creek, Hampton at Unaka. Good old backyard Carter County rivalry. It's Hampton 7-1. Unaka will again defend at 5-3. Who wins this game tonight in Stony Creek, Unaka or Hampton?
I don't see any way Unaka could beat Hampton, but Unaka's had a really good offensive season. They're coming off a game where they scored 62 points. I'd like to see them put some points on the board against Hampton. And, make it a little, make it a competitive football game. And at the end of the day, though, Yankees just going to have too much trouble with Hampton's ground game to be able to win, I think.
You look tomorrow night, got some good ones. Starting in Crockett, in Jonesboro, the Musket Bowl, Daniel Boone and Crockett. Big backyard rivalry game. Crockett 4-4. Daniel Boone ranked in the state, undefeated 8-0. Plus, it's a regional game this year. Who wins the Musket Bowl tomorrow night, sir?
Well, I don't want to discount Crockett's chances because I know in that rivalry, things can happen. But I just really feel like Crockett's going to have trouble putting points on the board. And so Boone's not giving up more than 14 points to anybody all season, and Crockett's not a better offensive team than some of the other teams Boone's played. So if Boone holds fast to that, the only way Crockett can beat them would be to win like 14-10 or something like that. And it's possible, but I just think Boone's starting to find a little bit better offensive identity, and I think they're going to get at least 3 scores. So I think Boone's going to be able to win the game.
All right. Oak Ridge at Dobbins Minute tomorrow night. Who wins this backyard rivalry? Oak Ridge leads at 22-21 the all-time series. Who wins that one tomorrow night? DB makes it 4 straight, or Oak Ridge gets a win?
I think DB wins. I think Oak Ridge coming off a game where they put up 56 points and, maybe starting to find some things and get things straightened out. And they've had kind of an uneven season. But this DB football team's really good, and I think that they'll be able to handle Oak Ridge.
West Ridge at Tennessee High tomorrow night. Again, a non-conference game. West Ridge 3-5, Tennessee High at 4-4. Who wins this one at the Stone Castle?
I think it's got to be Tennessee High, and part of the reason for that is Tennessee High is I was talking to somebody the other day talking about Tennessee High's offensive line, and they've a really sturdy and stout offensive line, and they love to run the football. And Westridge just had massive trouble trying to stop the run against Morristown East. So I think they're going to have trouble against Tennessee High, and I think Tennessee High will win the game.
The bragging rights of Hawkins County tomorrow night. Volunteer hosting Cherokee. Both teams having a tough year. You have Cherokee at 0-8 and Volunteer at 1-7. Who wins that one tomorrow night? Volunteer at home or Cherokee on the road?
Well, it's hard to pick when neither team's been able to do much in the win column and not been super competitive on a lot of weeks too. So, I kind of go out on a limb a little bit. It's kind of hard to pick a team that hasn't won all year, but I'm going to pick Cherokee to pull this one off, and we'll see what happens.
Johnson County at Cloudland, another non-conference game. Johnson County 2-6, Cloudland at 3-5. Who wins this one tomorrow night up on the mountain?
Well, Cloudland, they're pretty much their game plan is pretty simple. Let's get the ball engaged in Kenny's hands, and let's see how far he can run, how many times he can run, and it's been successful in region games when it's needed to be successful. They've struggled outside of the region some. Johnson County can throw the football and get a good quarterback. Boy, that's a tight one there. I'm gonna go with the ground game, but this time of year, teams that can run the football, tend to do pretty well. So I'll stick with the ground game and say Cloudland.
All right. So Pigeon Forge and Happy Valley. Can the Warriors win that one tomorrow night?
I don't think so. I think Pigeon Forge is going to be too strong for them. Pigeon Forge coming in, playing good football, and Happy Valley's much improved from last year, and Pigeon Forge just wore them out last year. I don't think it's going to be like that, but I think Pigeon Forge is going to win the game.
All right. Major League Baseball, Game 3. Tomorrow night, the Phillies and the Padres in Philadelphia. And Game 2 tonight, the Yankees and the Astros in Houston. Let's start with the Yankees and the Astros. Framber Valdez will go against Luis Severino. Astros versus the Yankees. Who wins that one tonight in Houston?
Yeah, I'm going to say the Yankees. Of course, I'm probably a little bit jaded because Houston's probably my least favorite baseball team right now. Just the way they've done things in the past. I know that, maybe they're not doing that now, but it just still hovers over them. And I just don't, I like some of their players. I think, Jordan Alvarez is just a tremendous baseball player, just an incredible hitter. They got some good pieces and some good pitchers and stuff, but just the whole Houston thing in general. And I like to see the Yankees beat them, but I'm not a Yankees fan, but, the lesser of two evils, I guess.
There you go. All right. So, and of course, Tennessee football, they legitimate. They got 15 first-place votes this week after beating Alabama and beating Pitt and beating LSU and beating Florida. Are they legit? Are they a legitimate number one team in the country, potentially, this football team in Knoxville?
Well, I mean, certainly if you look at their resume and you look at their offense, you have to say that they have proven that they belong exactly where they're ranked. I think they're ranked in the sweet spot for them right now. It's where they should be based on what they've done to this point. But it's kind of funny. Rankings to me don't really mean a lot. All that matters to me is how are you positioned to have a chance to get in the playoffs. And it's really kind of it's still a tough road. You still have to go and win at Georgia. And maybe you could lose that game and still get in, because if you lose that game, maybe you don't go to the SEC championship game, and therefore you're going to be 11-1, and you still get in. But and I think they're capable of beating Georgia, obviously. But to answer your question, definitely legit, definitely deserve to be ranked in the top three right now, and definitely have a chance. This is a national championship potential football team. I was talking with my brothers who are both diehard UT football fans, and I was saying, there's only just a very small amount of football teams in the country that I feel like can legitimately beat UT, and they are Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama. I know Tennessee already beat them, but I think if they rematched, I think everybody would go into that thinking Alabama has a chance to win. So Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, and then maybe Clemson, and that's got to do with their defensive line. But that's it. I mean, it's a short list of teams I think could beat UT this year, so they're definitely legit.
All right, last one. Samford 5-1 coming to East Tennessee State 3-4 on Saturday. The Bucks get a win. They got to get things turned around, or will Samford win this thing and head back to Alabama?
Yeah, like a lot of people around here, I've lost confidence in ETSU's football program. I don't really know what the answers are for them, but can't really pick them to beat anybody that's got a good record right now, and they're just going to have to step up and prove me wrong and prove some other people wrong too. But they struggled this year, and they're not what people expected them to be. But part of that, they had such a great year last year. It's not like you can automatically duplicate that.
You got it. Great report, my friend. Thank you as always. We'll talk to you next week. All right.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Yep, good man right there, buddy. Again, Doug Fritz, sports writer, John City Press, Kingsport Times News. Quick break. We'll talk to Jeff Beverly about Tennessee football next on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
I'm Dr. Beth Cannon with Cannon Family Dental. I've been in practice here for going on 11 years now. Cosmetic dentistry is definitely one of my favorite aspects of what I get to do. Being able to change someone's appearance and how they feel about themselves is such a rewarding aspect of my job. When you get to see somebody start to cry when they look in the mirror for the first time and they're seeing their new smile, it makes everything worth it. Because a lot of people, don't smile because they're not happy with the way their teeth look. And it might be something as simple as just changing the shade of their teeth or just changing the shape or size. There's a lot of things we can do cosmetically that are not too invasive to really change your overall appearance. We do the whitening, we do a lot of crown and bridge work. If you want a bright white smile, you can absolutely have it. Once we get that process going, of course everyone's a little nervous, like, okay, I'm changing a big part of my life. And honestly, I kind of thought to listen to a patient say, well, I want to do this, my daughter's getting married or my son's graduating from college. I'm having a baby and I want to have really pretty maternity photos done. Can we do something to just make my smile look better? And being able to enhance that experience for patients is you just can't describe how it is. When they come back in and you get to see pictures of the wedding or pictures from the trip or whatever has really got them motivated, I really can't explain it. That's really why I do what I do. So if changing your smile and doing some cosmetic work has been something on your mind, please give us a call. We would love to have you come in so we can take a look and talk to you about having that smile you've always dreamed of.
As soon as Mr. Steve walks in, it's like a ray of sunshine has entered our restaurant.
Sure is nice to hear.
For his 100th birthday, we wanted to do it as big as possible.
That was someday, I'll tell you.
Customers came in, brought gifts and cards.
When I walked in and they all clapped, that was quite a surprise to me.
It's a really warm feeling in your heart to know that your father's got other people looking out for him.
We decided to give him free Chick-fil-A for life.
One of my main reasons I want to live forever.
I think you got it in you.
Hey, my name is Dante, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A nuggets is the authentic taste of it. You can tell it's freshly breaded, seasoned perfectly, and it just has this unique taste that compares to no other. Once I bite into it,
My name is Meredith, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese is the oven-toasted, cheesy top layer. If home had a flavor, it would be Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese. I'm passionate about it.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, let's go to the ponies. Our last guest, a dandy that he is, our buddy Jeff Beverly with Tennessee football. Good afternoon, sir. Go Big Orange. How's that?
Wow, what a weekend last weekend, Tom. It was a game to remember for sure. Good afternoon to you.
I know you were there, right? I'm assuming you were there?
I was.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, we watched it on TV. We saw them storm the field. We saw the game, and it was ebb and flow and back and forth, and everybody knows that by now. But put us there with you because it's one for the ages. Tried to simulate the experience and the energy and everything you felt and saw down there last week.
Well, I've been to a lot of games there. I've been going to games since the late '60s down there. I don't know that one compares to this one, to be perfectly honest. I was thinking back this week. The '85 Sugar Bowl in Miami. I was fortunate enough to go to that one, and that was an amazing game. It's sort of the rebirth after a long dry spell of Tennessee football. And then, of course, the '98 Florida game was incredible on our way to the national title game. But this one was it had a feel to it all week. And the crowd, the noise, it was just sustained loud for 3 hours or 3.5 hours. And just the pure joy and jubilation that people were expressing after the game is something to remember. And, and it is just football. I mean, I understand that, but, it's been a big part of entertainment and stuff for Tennessee fans and Tennessee people for a long, long time. And to have such a long streak against Alabama was, it's been disheartening. But I think if you're a Tennessee fan, you really have to have a lot of confidence in how quickly Coach Heupel has turned this program around. And you have to remember, I mean, he's doing this really with a lot of Jeremy Pruitt's recruits. And the future, to me, is about as bright as it's been in a long, long time. Because I think once Coach Hite gets his folks in here and they start getting some real quality depth, I think this program just going to go to new heights. And he's a player's coach, and he just understands. And I think he understands how important it is to the people of Tennessee. And he seems to really bought into all the tradition and all the importance of what the Alabama series is, and just the overall tradition of Tennessee football. But last Saturday night was one that a lot of folks will remember for a long, long time. It was a special night for sure.
Absolutely. And I've said this all week long on the show. You have 17 penalties. I don't care who you are. You're not going to beat anybody. And I'm not taking away from the Tennessee win, but Alabama certainly shot themselves in the foot. A school record 17 penalties, and you're not going to beat anybody. And yet there they were. Credit to the Alabama team and the talent pool they've got there. The kid makes the field goal. We're sitting there talking about another loss to Alabama. He missed it. He choked. I don't know if he choked. He missed it. Can't say he choked. It's easy for me to say because I wasn't in his shoes. But he missed the field goal. And yet Alabama was in position to win the game after, scoring 49 points and 17 penalties. They were still there. So Tennessee won the game. But, and, of course, Saban's, I think, spinning it more. Tennessee didn't win. We beat ourselves. But he gives us Tennessee a little bit of credit. But he's still saying, and understandably so, we self-destructed a lot in some key points in the football game, which is very uncharacteristic for an Alabama team. So Tennessee gets it 52-49. We move on, and so we got 15 first-place votes this week. I think that's legitimate. I've talked to folks that, no, Tennessee's not there yet, but you know this. You go to Pitt and win, they were ranked. You go to LSU and beat them, they were ranked. You beat Florida home, they were ranked at the time. And, of course, Alabama last week being ranked. So all four of those teams, top 25, you played them, you beat them when they were ranked. That's not happened, I think, in 20 years since 2001 for Tennessee. So this football team's legitimate, Jeff, and so I think the 15 first-place votes are legit.
Oh, I do too. And I think, like one person I heard this week on one of the podcasts said, if you don't think Tennessee is legit, who wants to play them?
Yeah.
Who wants to try to play Tennessee right now with their offense clicking the way it is? And you have to remember, too, against Alabama, they were down three defensive backs in the secondary, three starters, either injuries or didn't play. And so, again, they had walk-ons in at the very end of the game. The last drive for Alabama, they had a walk-on who hadn't played at all this year, playing safety. So you think about, how depleted they are from the injury standpoint, and just from a lack of depth standpoint. And then you think the best receiver coming into the season, All-American Cedric Tillman, hasn't played. He didn't play against Florida. He didn't play against LSU or didn't play against Alabama, with it, trying to get back from the ankle injury. So that's allowed, of course, Jalen Hyatt to really step up, and he's been phenomenal. But you add Tillman back into that mix going down the stretch, that's another weapon. And if you think about putting the pressure on with Hyatt and Tillman and Brew McCoy, it's going to be hard to guard all three of those guys. And so Tennessee creates a unique set of problems for a defense to try to solve, and only having a week to prepare for them. Now, Kentucky will have 2 weeks to prepare for them because they're off this week. But in Kentucky, will be salty. That'll be a salty game. And Tennessee can't be looking ahead to Georgia the following week. So Tennessee will have to play well because Kentucky will not nothing better to come in here and upset the apple cart. But when Tennessee's clicking, their offense is something to watch. And, you go back to thinking about putting together sort of a ragtag group of players and to make this offense click and to develop these players. Man, that's just coaching. I mean, you look at what Tillman did last year. He had 6 catches in his career before Coach Heupel got there. And then he had the league in receiving last year at Tennessee in 1 year. And the offensive line has come along. So the offensive line has been amazing to me the past few games. I mean, Alabama didn't put nowhere near the amount of pressure on Hooker that they thought they would, that everybody thought they would. Will Anderson wasn't really a factor in the game, to be perfectly honest. He had a couple of tackles, but they did a great job keeping him out. Mm-hmm. They had 1 sack, and that was, Hooker just held the ball, didn't want to try to, risk a turnover, so he did get sacked once. But really didn't feel a lot of pressure. He didn't feel near as much pressure as Bryce Young felt. And, again, it's so satisfying for Tennessee fans that Bryce Young played. He would have been sacked a number of times by Tennessee in that game. If he doesn't play, I think Tennessee wins that game, 3 or 4 touchdowns. But he kept Alabama in it with his play, and just a great game from that standpoint. But the way they've started developing players, the way Coach Heupel started developing players that he didn't really recruit, just a great job. And then I think the future is incredibly bright for Tennessee football and for that coaching staff, the way they've come in there and competed that quickly. If you'd have told me 20 months ago when he was hired, by the middle of his second season, he would be ranked in the top 5 and undefeated, people would have thought you were crazy. Yeah. Nobody would have believed that. But here we are, and and like the guy said this week, if you're another team, do you really want to play Tennessee right now? Does anybody want to try to play Tennessee right now? The way they're clicking, so that's a good question to responding to. Are they legitimate? As anything is, does anybody really want to play them right now?
Mississippi State, Alabama Saturday. Does Alabama bounce back, win that game? Do the Bulldogs beat them on the road? Who wins that game?
That game could go 2 completely different ways. I think it either be a really close game with a chance for an upset or a complete blowout. Alabama, we'll see how they respond.
Yep.
Saban's not, it just seems to be something a little different with them this year. They don't seem to be quite the normal Alabama team that we've thought of over the years. And they even mentioned they had a lot of anxiety coming out of the tunnel at Neyland Stadium last Saturday. And I thought, You know, it was an intimidating crowd, granted, but still, you wouldn't think that an Alabama team would be intimidated at all. But they seemed to relate that, and I saw a lot of feedback from former Alabama players really being critical. You know, of like, you know, you say you got anxiety, you say you're intimidated. You know, you're Alabama. You know, so they're sort of at a crossroads right now, to be honest with you, for this season. They've got some tough games left. Ole Miss will be a tough game. LSU will be a tough game. We'll see how they respond. So I think it'll go either one of two ways. Either they'll blow out, they'll be so mad and so fired up, they'll blow out Mississippi State, or it'll be a dogfight.
Ole Miss 7-0 at LSU 5-2 on Saturday afternoon. Who wins that one?
You know, a couple of weeks ago I would have said Ole Miss, but you know, now LSU played pretty well down there against Florida. Kiffin's team has been a little bit up and down. They just barely beat Kentucky, like you beat Kentucky, but then played real well against Auburn. So that'll be a shootout. That'll be a shootout. You know, I'm probably going to lean toward LSU a little bit. I think Ole Miss has potential, but I think LSU, I think they're starting to. I think after that Tennessee game, they sort of did some reassessment and played a lot better at Florida.
Texas A&M 3-3 at South Carolina 4-2. This is a must-win for both these coaches. Obviously, Jimbo Fisher not where they want him right now at 3-3. The A&M boosters and the money they're shelling out to pay this guy. So, big win on the road must be for Texas A&M. Obviously, in Columbia, do the Gamecocks beat them, or who wins that game?
I think it'll be close. You know, South Carolina beat Kentucky last weekend. They were off this past weekend, but they beat Kentucky without Will Levis up there at Lexington, and it was a very lackluster game. Very just, I don't know, it was just sort of a boring kind of a game. But coming back home, you know, they'll have a good crowd. I'm sure it'll be a big sellout crowd down there in Columbia. But A&M's got more to prove. You know, they more was expected of A&M this year than was expected of South Carolina. They've got more to prove, and we'll see how they rebound. You know, from a couple of early losses, started to get back on track a little bit last week. So we'll see what they do going to Columbia. But I think A&M will probably pull that out down there.
All right, one more. You got Vanderbilt 3-4 at Missouri 2-4. Who wins that one in Missouri this week?
Wow, I would hate to be the broadcast team on that one to try to bring you the action for that one. You know, it's at Missouri, so we'll go with Missouri. But the results from that wouldn't surprise me either way. Neither team is very good. Vanderbilt started out the season decently and had a good first half against Ole Miss a couple weeks ago. Missouri almost pulled the upset against Georgia a few weeks back. But neither team is very good right now. But we'll go with Missouri since they're at home.
Home game for Tennessee. UT Martin should be a checkbook game. I would think they're going to beat them as bad as they want to. I would think you'll see second, third teams out there on the field on Saturday. They can't be looking ahead. I don't think Hype will let them to Kentucky and Georgia, so I think it'll be ugly. And it's supposed to be ugly. Tennessee Martin's coming in and get a checkbook. They probably know they're going to get thumped and then head back to Tennessee Martin. But I think Tennessee wins big. I think they'll put up as many points they want to on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. You know, Martin actually is a pretty decent team, to be honest. They are a decent team for their division. They lost to Boise State 30-7 at Boise State earlier in the year. I think it was only like 17-7 going in the fourth quarter or something like that. So they're a decent team, but Tennessee should be able to pull away from them. Now, hangover from beating Alabama, traditionally that's happened. You know, in '82 when Tennessee broke that long streak in '82 against Alabama and beat them. They lost to Georgia Tech the next weekend. But that was the away game, and Georgia Tech was a pretty decent team. But they did lose to Georgia Tech the next week. So, you know, I'm sure they'll be sort of well, I'm not sure. You know, previous years I would have said I'm sure they'll be sort of a slow start for Saturday. But with Coach Heupel, his team has not had slow starts. So we'll see. This will be sort of an indication of his overall coaching. You know, if he comes out, if he gets them ready to play and they come out of the gate ready to rock and roll, then they should, you know, put Martin away fairly quickly. But don't be too surprised if it is a little bit of a sluggish first quarter for them after the huge celebration last Saturday night.
Jeff Beverly, great report, my friend. Again, we'll talk with you next week. Let's see, Kentucky's off this week, so they get a chance to get ready for the Vols, get an extra week to prepare. Is that correct?
That is correct. And that'll be a big game. That'll be a 7 o'clock night game. In Neyland, so probably a little bit chillier than it has been temperature-wise. So, but looking forward to that one as well. Anytime you play a conference game at night, it's sort of a special deal.
You got it. All right, there'll be a conference game next Saturday night at Neyland, so be a good one. Jeff Beverly, great report, my friend. Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you next week, all right?
That sounds great, Tom. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. Good man right there. Love having him on the show. He adds a lot to the show, folks, and I appreciate him very much. That's going to do it from here. Again, we wrap things up by saying thanks to Jeff Beverly, also saying thanks to Mike Hedrick, saying thanks to Doug Fritz, and saying thanks to David Collins and Tracy Little from Collins & Company. So that's going to finish this out for this show number 1724 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show. And so we'll be back on Monday, taking tomorrow off for the final day of fall break to hang out and do some things, and a little R&R, then back in the saddle starting Monday, running full throttle all the way through. It'll be a while before we take it on and off, I think, and that's okay. We can do that. And so here it is to wrap up the show. Psalms 13, 5 and 6 says, "But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord, for he has been good to me." Psalms 13, 5 and 6, the verse of the day here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Back again, as we said, on Monday. Have a great weekend. Looks like it's going to be a good one. Weather-wise, no football tomorrow night. Again, we'll pick back up next Thursday with the final game of the regular season, the final home game against the Cyclones and, of course, the Seymour Eagles for senior night next Thursday night. We will talk to you on Monday. Have a great rest of your weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll see you then. We'll wrap it up with saying, as we wrap up show number 1724 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show, we'll tell you, as always, bloom where you're planted, and win or lose, be a good sport. Thanks for watching the show today from